You're listening to the Michael Baisden Show podcast.
Serious topic I'm glad we had a chance to talk about. Dominique, there was a story that we didn't get a chance to get around to. It had to do with opioid addiction and what was going on with the hospitals. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know that we're finding now that marijuana use is decreasing alcohol use, which is decreasing overall abusive drug use. Now, why don't they talk about that, Dominique?
Well, it's true. There's been several studies in different areas showing that when medical marijuana becomes legal in an area, opioid use goes down. So there's a converse relationship, and the same with alcohol, interestingly enough. So that is not getting a lot of conversation, but I think it will get more.
And the food goes up. Grocery shopping goes up. Restaurant orders go up. Yeah, it's good for the economy.
It is a little frustrating. I don't know if you all saw this video that was circulating around social media. There was a woman who was, I can't remember who it was. I wish I would have saved it. It was a state legislator, and she was really angry. I think it was in New York City. In fact, it was New York because she had a New York accent, and she was talking about how nobody had this sense of urgency during the crack epidemic.
Of course, because we know who it was affecting. When it starts to affect a certain type of people, which would be white people that are middle class, upper class, that's when it becomes an epidemic and an issue.
Because this is something that really didn't have to devastate our community as much as it did, because they did not pay any attention to it. They just saw it as a crime and not something that was a health issue, the way that they're rightfully seeing opioid addiction. So stay tuned, family. Great show. We're talking about opioid addiction. We're talking about opioid addiction.
What are we talking about, Mike?
There you go.
What are we talking about?
What's it called?
We got a great show for you today. We're talking about opioid addiction, right?
Yeah, that's what she
On the
uses.
Michael
Opioid.
Baisden Show. We're shutting
Opioid.
the city down.
Yeah,
Opioids.
we grown folks radio. Let's talk about it.
See what they do to me, y'all. This is how I get treated on my show. Check this out. Drug addiction on the Michael. Thanks for listening to the Michael Baisden Show live stream, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. Go to VideoPitch.com now and be a part of our growing community of writers, video producers, and filmmakers, and get paid to share your business, opinion, and talent with the world. Now back to the Michael Baisden Show live stream. Thank you all for tuning in to the Michael Baisden Show, Grown Folks Radio, One Nation, One Station. I'm loving this topic today. We're going to get into this. Thank you all for tuning in to the best show on radio, putting it down coast to coast on your radio. George Wilborn, I love what you said about taking drugs. We're talking about pharmaceutical drugs. I guess you had an injury or something. What happened with that,
I had rotator cuff surgery almost a year ago, and it was a bad surgery. It's something I needed to get done years ago. And the medication they gave me, I started having adverse effects. First of all, I hate medication, and obviously I'm up and I'm a comedian. I'm always bouncing around, so I didn't like the way it felt. But I had side effects, things, blotches on my skin and all that. So I stopped.
Wow.
I stopped taking it, and I started smoking marijuana. Well, I started smoking more marijuana.
I got my girl Annie on the line. Annie, how you doing? Thanks for calling.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Talk to me about these pharmaceutical drugs.
Well, I worked in Meridian Behavioral Health Care, which is to get people off of drugs and
Sure.
to get people off the streets who are having crisis stabilization units, if they're having a mental breakdown or psychotic episode or if they're drugged out of their mind.
Right.
So I've worked in it. I worked at the Vines Hospital in Ocala. I've worked in it. I've seen it firsthand and many different people. But my foster sister got on oxycodone, and she can't even keep a roof over her and her children's
Oh, my
head.
goodness.
She can't take care. She can't take care of herself. She gets these prescriptions. She sells them to pay. She was selling them to pay the bills, and just taking a couple of them. But then she can't get enough of them. She's so addicted, she can't get enough of them. So now she's using all of her prescription and buying them at $25 a pill.
Yeah,
Gee
And it takes
whiz.
3 or 4 of the pills. It takes 3 or 4 of the pills to get her high, and then
Oh,
she
my
needs more. That won't even get her through one day. 3 or 4 don't get her through one day.
$25 a pill?
So look,
Yeah,
now
and then the doctors put them on Suboxone or Subutex or some kind of thing like that, or methadone. They have all these methadone clinics and these Subutex and Suboxone and stuff. Those things are worse than the daggum oxycodone.
Hold on for me, sweetie. I hear you. Hold on. I got to get into this song. Hey, you all stand by for this, man. This is what I'm talking about, man. Look, pharmaceutical drugs. Nobody is talking about that. They want to legalize weed, but this is the stuff that's driving people homeless and killing people. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about opioids. I got it right. You see that? You see that, young man?
You didn't get no sleep
I swear I didn't
last
get no
night, did
sleep last night, right? Opioids, ladies and gentlemen. Becky's on the line. Becky, where you calling us from?
Camel.
Talk to me about opioids and pharmaceutical drugs. Talk to me, Becky.
Okay, one thing I got to say about opioid drugs, the women, they do them because they want to. I have problems, and I've been taking opioid drugs. They prescribe me so many, and like I said, I only take them if I need them.
What did you get? What would you get them prescribed for first? What was the problem that you had that they gave them to you?
Sciatic, bad back,
Sciatic.
But you know,
and I need surgery.
Go ahead, George.
No, the problem with what.
Go ahead, get in there,
man.
man.
Cut you off, but the problem with what you're saying is that different people have different mentalities. They have different levels that they can take of narcotics. So to say that they all want to, I just respectfully disagree with that. Some people, they get it and they get hooked, and it's beyond just a physical. It's a mental and psychological effect on them.
Yeah, Becky, why you just say they all want to do it? That's like saying anybody who gets hooked on pharmaceutical drugs is because they want to. I don't believe you believe that. I don't want to believe it.
I believe it because they want to. I ain't hooked on them.
Becky. My point.
She's stronger than most. Yeah.
She's stronger than most.
Yeah, you're stronger than most.
You're stronger than most, Becky. That's all we're saying.
Stronger than most.
Stand by. We'll come back with calls. We got Trisha on hold, Carrie's on hold, and also, Trisha, LaDonna's on hold. Woo, I got it right. LaDonna, don't go anywhere. We're coming back with your calls on the Michael Bader Show talking about opioids. Come on, guys.
I'll give you
give us some credit, man.
You said it about 9 times since last night. So I know you've been practicing.
I've been practicing. We're talking about opioid. See, there I go. I tried. See,
all right.
Welcome back, Mr.
Slow it down like you did all last night while you was practicing.
Opioid addiction is a serious problem. Give me some of the stats, Dominique DePrimo, on how bad the situation is.
Well, I mean, right now they're saying in some communities, 60 and 70% of the young people under 25 are hooked on opioid drugs. And most of the time, as you've said, it starts as prescription. We heard them talking about $25 a pill.
Yes.
That's why people turn to heroin, because heroin is much cheaper, but it's the same substance, so that they're able to afford, if you will, to continue.
And that's why you have a lot of
addicted.
home invasion. People are then breaking into
That's
houses,
a good point,
not
George.
trying to look for anything, but going straight to that medicine cabinet. And it's worse. It's an epidemic.
Hey, Trisha, how you doing? Talk to me about what's going on with this
Doing good.
opioid addiction. Go ahead.
Well, for me, on the other hand, I never been on drugs, and I never took pills like that. I'm not a pill popper, but I had stomach surgery a few years ago, and they gave me morphine, the machine where I had to keep pushing the button every time I had pain in my stomach or whatever. And I found myself, I kept pushing the button, and I said, no, I don't like this feeling. And I ended up throwing the medicine. I bring it back up, and I was like, what else can I take besides morphine?
Right.
They said, we got Loratas and Tylenol. I said, I'll take Tylenol. I'm not a pill popper. But the nurse also explained to me, she said, patients like that feeling. They like to be on morphine and all this other stuff. And I was shocked when I was so heartbreaking when Prince died. And the way he was on.
What was he on? What was he on,
whatever.
guys? You remember what he was on, Dominique or Tricia?
I think it was, I can't remember.
We're gonna get that in. We're gonna get that in the next break and bring that to you guys and find out what he was on. But you said no. How was it making you feel? Give me an example of what you were feeling.
It was the feeling like it was going to my head, rushing to my head or whatever.
Right.
And I felt like the room was spinning. And I remember I was at the ER one time for pain, in my stomach. They gave me so much medicine that they said, well, don't get up. You don't need to get up. And I was like, I don't feel right. The room is spinning. I was telling my boyfriend, I said, the room is
They
spinning.
just keep giving it to him, though. They just, hold on, Trisha. They keep giving it to him. It is big money. You all stand by. I still got some family on hold who's been with us for a while. Adonna's been holding on for 10 minutes. Come back with more of your calls on the Michael Bader Show. This is some good information, family. Thanks for listening to the Michael Bader Show live stream, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. Go to VideoPitch.com now and be a part of our growing community of writers, video producers, and filmmakers, and get paid to share your business, opinion, and talent with the world. Now back to the Michael Bader Show live stream. It's the Michael Bader Show, talking about a topic that is very serious and something that is epidemic in our country right now. Dominique DePrino was giving me some facts on this. 60% of Americans highest rate ever are taking prescription drugs. What is going on with women, though, Dominique?
Well, that's in certain communities. 60% is not across the board. What we see is a much bigger addiction rate among women, a much bigger increase, whereas men have increased in the neighborhood of 200%. For women, it's closer to 500, with 464% increase among women.
Why do you think it's so high for women, Dominique? And I'll bring LaDonna in on the conversation as well.
I think we self-medicate. I think women have a lot of stress. I think they have a disparity in, access to health care, and they're just self-medicating to get through 3 jobs and all of the, injuries and stress in their lives.
And unfortunately, it's easier for a woman to get because she has something that can get it easier.
Oh, you mean in terms of exchanging?
Absolutely.
If it's that serious. LaDonna, how you doing? Thank you for holding on for us. Talk to me.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, I've been on every pharmaceutical drug it is to be on because I have sarcoidosis, so I have chronic pain.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not educated enough. The doctor never told me about rebound pain. We're not educated about the rebound pain. It's like the body's going to so much pain. It's when it becomes intolerable that you take something.
Mm-hmm.
And when we take something, we don't know about the rebound pain.
So wait. So we shouldn't be surprised then. I mean, if we have the same response as we'd get into cocaine, there's no question as to why this thing is becoming so epidemic now. And I got to say this. A woman was on the news, and she said, it's interesting because we have the same problem with crack cocaine, Dominic and George. You know where I'm going with this. Nobody did anything. Nobody said anything. It was just lock them up. And now that a lot of this, and I got to say this is also affecting the white community. To my white family, this is true. Now it's an epidemic that needs somebody to step up and do something about it.
You got white parents dying of OD while their kids are in the back seat of cars.
That's right. Come back with your calls. LaDonna, I love you. Thank you for hanging out with us. My man Carrie's been hanging on forever. We're talking about opioid addiction. And this pharmaceutical drug addiction is something else, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about marijuana. Everybody's freaking out on marijuana because it's a popular thing to try to criminalize marijuana. But nobody's talking about the number of people where they are talking about it, but not enough. And that's why we're doing it on the Michael Bates Show. This thing is huge. Epidemic. How bad was it with Prince? What was he addicted to, Dominique?
Well, it's fentanyl, but apparently he was taking a number of different opioid-related drugs. But fentanyl is one that's really, really shooting up. They're saying 8 to 10 times increase in the number of deaths from fentanyl in 15 different states.
Was that the same thing that Michael Jackson was on as well?
Michael Jackson was Demerol.
Yeah. Thanks, Miles. Yeah.
And propofol,
Gee whiz.
The fake sleep stuff,
How do y'all keep up with all these drugs? Carrie, you've been holding on forever, man. What's going on, partner? Go ahead, man. Talk to me.
Listen, man.
Go ahead,
all
Carrie.
these women, all these people calling in about the drug epidemic, Now, Norco is a serious drug. All right? Don't get me wrong. Norco is a serious drug.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get on it, then you can't get off of it. But you can get off of it. You don't never.
Wait. What is that drug? What's it called again? Carrie, say it again.
It's called Norco.
What is it? What is it used for? What is it prescribed for?
It's a pain. It's an epidemic. It's
pain.
It's an epidemic.
Okay.
It's a Norco. But if you ever hydrocodone is what it's called. But Vicodin, Norco, whatever they want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah, okay, but listen, man. If you ever take those, you might like it.
Right.
But if you don't, if you just look at it and sit there and look at it and say, "Hey, I wonder what was this drug."
Which one you on?
Yeah.
Which one you on? I held as long as I could. Which one? Which one you can't live without? Which one? Educators. Which one?
One I'm on?
Yeah.
Neither one. I promise you that. You want a piss test?
No, Carrie, hold on for me.
Thank you, but no.
Thank you, Carrie. Oh my goodness, you started that, George.
I did. My bad.
You did. Rain, how you doing? What's up? Say hello to George Wilborn and Dominique DePrima.
Hello, George and Dominique.
Hi,
Rain.
What's up, Rain? Talk to us.
Okay, now, see, you chimed me in. We're talking about the teenage epidemic with the pills at this time. However, my opinion about was about the legalization of the marijuana, and then you're doing the opiate crisis, okay? my thing is like this. I do not agree that you shouldn't help people that are addicted to the opiates. I feel like, at times people make a choice. And when I say this, please be not dismayed. I'm looking at history repeating itself, but I'm using it in the sense of the heroin epidemic that we had back in the 60s.
Sure.
Because, see, I lost my father and 6 of his brothers.
Wow.
And they served for the U.S. of A.
I got
you. So I see this as another frame of population control. So, see, I'm coming in on a whole different angle.
I'm so glad
she went there.
said it.
She went there.
I'm getting ready to say, please. Yes, I did. I went there. Now I feel as though marijuana. I don't see people robbing pharmacies when they smoke marijuana. I don't see them, robbing old people, stealing from the grocery store.
Wait. Miles is hold on. Rain, Miles is challenging you. Young Miles is challenging you. What do you want to say to Rain?
I said this is legal in Nevada. It is legal. Well, that's where I'm from. So it's legal there, and I have seen people on the news breaking into these dispensaries.
And they also did it in Baltimore in a huge way, and there was just tens of thousands of pills on the streets and still causing mayhem.
So what are you saying in opposition to Miles in relation to what Rain is saying, George?
Okay.
I'm not saying anything in opposition. What I'm saying is that I think she hit it on the head. I think maybe they're killing 2 birds with one stone. Maybe we're making a whole lot of money while we're doing a little bit of population control at the same time.
Wow. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got to come back with your calls. Rain, thank you for putting it down. We're coming back with more. You all have been holding on forever. Melody, Nicole, Johnny. What's up, Johnny? You still holding on, man? Talk to me.
You already know it, Mike.
Already know it. Hold on, Johnny. Coming back with more of your calls on the Michael Basin Show. That's my dude. Thanks for listening to the Michael Basin Show live stream, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. Go to VideoPitch.com now and be a part of our growing community of writers, video producers, and filmmakers, and get paid to share your business, opinion, and talent with the world. Now back to the Michael Basin Show live stream. See, it's the show inside of the show on the Michael Basin Show. Thank you all for tuning in. My man Johnny's still on hold. He's been macking the ladies down like we have a conversation during the break. And Johnny wait a minute. Hey, Dominique, wasn't Johnny trying to mack the ladies down?
Yeah, he has his Mac voice on for sure.
Johnny, hold on. I need to talk to Melody. Melody, how you doing? We're talking about teen addiction. They're prescribing drugs to our young people more than ever before. We were talking about this drink, Lean. Do you know anything about this, Dominique and Melody, this drink called Lean?
It's a syrup. It's a mixture of codeine, cough syrup, and some candy.
What do you say, Melody?
Sprite.
Melody knows about it. Talk to me, Melody.
I'll tell you, I'm actually calling from the standpoint of a pharmaceutical rep. I do sell drugs for a living legally. And, George said something earlier, and what I want to point out is a lot of this is choice. I just had surgery on my foot, and the doctors tried to give me oxycodone and naproxen. I said, no, thank you. Give me Tylenol, and I'm good to go. You have to make that choice not to accept these drugs from the doctors, just like the doctors have a choice not to sell and pain management drugs and get involved in that. I'm in the D.C. area, and doctors have lost their licenses. Doctors who were reputable, went through school, went and did all the things they need to do, and now they can't practice because they're getting in a business where people are desperate. They want to break and take their script pads. They want to take
Melody,
their
what are they losing their license for?
Because they're either showing up that they can't manage the practice and people are stealing their scripts and it looks like they're giving
overprescribing.
They're overprescribing.
Anybody that opens up a pain management company, as soon as they open their doors, the FBI and the DEA are looking at them and monitoring them. It's the craziest thing. All these young kids that get hurt in sports and athletics, they're giving them these pain medicines.
That's what we were talking about.
They're using them longer than they need to. And then what's happening is then they're looking for, like Dominique, I think, they're going to the heroin and other things afterwards.
Hold on for me. You're fading a little bit, Melody. Great point about the overprescribing of the kids and also, man, about what's going on in our community, man. Why was this not an epidemic when it came to crack? Nicole's been holding on forever. What's going on, Nicole? How you doing? Where you calling from?
Hi, guys. I am calling from Palm Beach County.
So talk to me, Nicole. I'll get into the teen stuff later. What's on your mind about opioid addiction and pharmaceutical drugs and marijuana?
Now, I work in the jails. Personally, I am a substance abuse counselor, and I am sadly on the fence. Now, I do agree with the population control, but our juveniles who are not yet making adult choices to just use just marijuana, whatever that is called,
Mm-hmm.
don't have the mental capacity to actually choose not to use other drugs once they've used marijuana with such long
Interesting
standards.
point. Mm-hmm.
From 13 to 18,
I agree
they've
with
been
that.
smoking. Now they're addicted. Now, whether it should be legal for adults, that's another choice.
Just
So
like
a lot of people
alcohol
are not
is.
making the choice.
Right, George.
Can't buy cigarettes.
That's right.
Very true. But even with that, we the people made the choice that we wanted that as being legal. And then 5 billion years later, who made this stuff legal?
That's right.
People are dying. People are cancer, DUIs, car crashes, all that stuff.
And that to me, Nicole, is where the hypocrisy lies. If we're gonna talk about things that are harming the public, then we got to talk about alcohol and cigarettes and pharmaceutical drugs and all this. I tell you, look, obviously, I'm an opponent or proponent of marijuana. I think that marijuana should be legal. I think that it should be legal just like cigarettes and alcohol.
And not just because we smoke it. Let's make this clear.
George.
But as a mom, I hear what she's saying too, because with kids, you got to look at the development of their brains.
That's
you got to
true.
look at how it impacts their growth. So that's a completely different issue, I think.
You know what? What about alcohol?
But
What about
it's
this?
going to become a different issue, but you're still going to let them use it. Because once it becomes legal, they can get it from anybody, anywhere.
They can get it from anybody, anywhere now,
anyway.
Nicole. Come on now.
Alcohol is legal, and my boy's not allowed to drink.
Right.
Come on. They can get it anyway, and they're going to get it anyway.
That sounds like their argument. If they make it legal, they're going to get it. They're already getting it. I'm saying if you look at how they're using marijuana to lock these
massive
black and brown people up, it's
Come on
ridiculous.
now.
There's
Yeah.
no way. Just for that reason alone, I think it should be
true. That is
legalized.
very true.
Johnny B. Good is up next. Johnny been holding on forever. You still there, Johnny?
If nothing else.
Nothing else.
Nigga.
Johnny's still the guy. Still macking, man.
smoking
Still.
weed.
George, he's not smoking weed. Talking about opioid and drug addiction. And ladies and gentlemen, this man has been holding on for quite a long time. Talk to your kids about opioid addiction. We're talking about teen addiction as well. Before we get into Johnny, why are you playing that bed, Miles?
Yeah.
For Johnny.
For Johnny. Johnny, how you doing, Johnny?
I'm chilling, man.
Yeah. Dominique, talk to Johnny, please.
Hi, Johnny. Welcome to the Michael
Hey,
Baisden
Dominique.
Show. How you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you doing, sister?
I'm great. Thank
Hey,
you.
Go ahead. I'm going to let you handle this, Dominique. Go ahead.
So what did you want to tell us, Johnny?
Well, this is what I would like to say. It's a shame that we're talking about the epidemic at this point because it only became an epidemic when it reached the upper crust of society, as they call it. When it was harming our people, African Americans and the Latinos, it wasn't an issue then. It's been an issue. But now that it started creeping into the doctor's offices and their families and the judges and their families and the powers that be and their families, it's an issue. It's an epidemic.
In all fairness,
But we
Johnny,
all-
there are a lot of poor white people. There are a lot of middle class
Yes,
white
it
people who are being
is.
devastated by this. But go
guess
ahead.
What, though? Guess what, though, Mike? This is the reach around. Now, this what the government always did. Even I remember back in the days when they came up with a program for a senator's son.
I know what you're
that they
talking
started
about.
sending to.
Yep.
When he got in trouble, it's only issue when it
Affluenza.
affects
It was
them.
called affluenza.
Yeah.
Affluenza.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. So until it reaches them, it's not a problem. But now, I mean, this stuff has to be addressed. It has to be stopped. But long as it's, money's getting to their pockets, it's going to be an issue. It's going to always be a problem.
I agree. I knew you
agree
were
with
going
that.
with this. Hey, Johnny, thank you
Yeah.
very much for calling,
Thanks,
man.
Johnny.
I appreciate you so
And
much.
Thanks for holding on, brother.
And do me one thing before I let you go, Johnny. I want you to say right on with the right on.
Right on, baby. Right on.
Yeah.
All
Right on.
Thanks, Johnny.
Dominique, say goodbye to Johnny.
Bye, Johnny.
What do you think you are, Chuck Willery? What are you trying to do here, man? Let the man go, man.
He made a great point, though. If you all want to respond to that, we got a lot of folks on hold right now. Decory is on hold. Sonia's on hold. Lenny's on hold. Lenny, with plenty, you all stand by. We'll come back with more of your calls on The Michael Baisden Show. Thanks for listening to The Michael Baisden Show live stream, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. Go to VideoPitch.com now and be a part of our growing community of writers, video producers, and filmmakers, and get paid to share your business, opinion, and talent with the world. Now back to The Michael Baisden Show live stream. Having a conversation today about opioids. I was struggling with that word for a very long time, but this is a very serious issue.
Your whole life.
Welcome back to the Michael Baisden Show. Dominic DePrima, before we get back into our calls, give me some stats on what's going on with our teens.
Well, heroin use, for example, has more than doubled among adults aged 18 to 25 in the past 10 years. And there's a lot of different incarnations of street drugs, like the fentanyl is a prescription drug, but there's now a street version of it that's killing a lot of young people. Right now, the drug overdose death rate for teenagers has gone up 3 times since 1999.
Jeez. DeCourcy, what do you want to say about all this, man? Thank you for calling and thank you for holding.
All right, man. What's up? It's good to finally get through and talk to you guys.
What's up?
Thank you.
Yeah. But I want to say, does anybody know the real reason marijuana was made illegal in the first place?
According to, I think I was watching Bowling for Columbine, it was saying it was something that they thought would make African-American men attack white women.
As well as they thought it would be a gateway drugs to other narcotics.
Plus they know to tax it.
Yep. What do you say, DeCourcy?
Right. Now what I read somewhere, and this is on the law books, I believe, is that it causes white women to act crazy and lust after black and Latino men.
There you go.
That's the real reason why they made it illegal.
Well, they would have burned all the stalks on the earth if they thought every bud ever blossom would be destroyed if they thought that was really true.
Oh, my God.
But you have every white woman in the world trying to stop them, too.
And what's your point, DeCourcy?
In fact, on drugs, it was started.
You know, in fact, hold on. It really doesn't matter what the point is. Hold on.
What's your point? That was funny.
Oh,
I never heard that.
I never heard that, right. Sonia's been holding on. Sonia, what's your position on this?
I agree with you guys. I truly believe we should be legal. I'm 200% for that. I am upset with the pharmaceutical companies about this opioid epidemic because I have serious back issues along with some other medical conditions that causes me great pain, severe pain. And with my back, I asked, could I get the little lidocaine patch because it works. They wouldn't give me the patch, but they'll keep giving me hydrocodone and Percocet. Because they say the patches cost too much and the opioids are much cheaper. So they don't care about us getting addicted and getting strung out on that.
Listen, and you do get addicted. I mean, to cut her off, you do get addicted. I got surgery. It was less than like 4 weeks, 5 weeks of me trying to take this medication, which I had to take because the pain was so bad. But I'm telling you, I knew the effects. I could feel them right away.
What were the effects? And let me talk to Sonia. Go ahead, Sonia.
How many pills do I have?
Mm-hmm.
I have about 4 prescriptions that's prescribed for me to take like 3 pills a day. I don't take it the way it's prescribed. I take it as needed. But it's prescribed for me to take 3 hydrocodones a day, 3 relaxers a day, 3 other pain pills a day, 3 Motrins a day. All that stuff.
They are doping these people up, man.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You setting yourself up for addiction.
She said they refuse to give it a patch. Download the Michael Bays Show app. Coming back with more of your calls. Georgia got to talk to you about how it affected you when we come back. Thank you, Sonia. Come back with more of your calls on the Michael Bays Show. Hot topic, family. Thanks for listening to the Michael Bays Show live stream, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. Go to VideoPitch.com now and be a part of our growing community of writers, video producers, and filmmakers, and get paid to share your business, opinion, and talent with the world. Now back to the Michael Bays Show live stream. It's offensive almost. George, we're back on the air. We were talking off the air. Dominique is looking for statistics on the number of men, in particular black men and women, who've been locked up because of marijuana convictions. I know you're still looking up the numbers. I guess they don't go back that far. But before you get into that info, Dominique, real quick, the number of Americans who are using pharmaceutical drugs and are addicted to them.
Well, the numbers are just through the roof. More than 8,000 people died in 2013. Heroin use doubling in the past 10 years among 18 to 25. And one thing that's really interesting that goes to your point, 45% of the people who use heroin were also addicted to prescription opioid painkillers.
See?
That's it.
So that's the real gateway that we're seeing.
There's the gateway drug right there.
There you go, George. That's what I'm talking about. Lenny with Plenty, thanks for holding on, man. You've been hanging out with us for a while. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm listening to a lot of the statistics on the number of people that are strung out on heroin and opioids. The one thing we missed is the pharmaceutical industry and the congressional leadership. The unfortunate thing about it is they put this thing out two-pronged. They put it out to the medical industry, which teases the gang sector or whatever, the drug dealer sector, and that brings in them getting those drugs to fulfill what the pharmaceutical industry will do, but so far. Now, if you look at it, the influx in the pharmaceutical industry of drugs being put into the medical industry is not as high as it is on the street. So where is it coming from? If the pharmaceutical industry are the ones that are putting it out there.
Yeah,
Secondly,
how they even
what we
getting
talked
access
about
to
before,
it? That's right.
Exactly, but when they were putting this out, now you got to look at 1942, and if you can Google that, you'll find out that African Americans was the test rabbits for these drugs. Okay, and that was for a very long time. It was to see how it would affect a human being. They used us just like they tested monkeys. The problem is the fact that these drugs that were becoming addictive people were inheriting the use of these drugs at the same time. So generations after generations were also getting addicted to these drugs. When those drugs wasn't available or prevalent, because now it's an echelon drug or an elitist drug, then people turned to heroin. They turned to drugs that were more affordable. Crack in the 80s. All these things that were affordable to the impoverished or to the people that weren't making enough money. That's how it got into this thing. It didn't happen to where, a doctor just started selling drugs. It happened from a chain reaction from the pharmaceutical industry. Pfizer, Ciba-Geigy, all these other companies were putting this out there.
I agree with you 100%, man. When you said that they used us, this is true, man. This is a real problem we need to understand, is that this was not an issue when it came to crack cocaine. It just wasn't. And all of a sudden, it's epidemic. Yes, it's a problem that needs to be tackled. No question about it. But we cannot wait until this is something that affects white people. And to my white family, I'm sorry, but this is true. We can't wait for something to happen that affects white people to say this is a problem. It's a problem that needs to be fixed. But cocaine, or should I say crack cocaine, needed to be fixed because it just devastated our communities, man. And we're still feeling the impact today. Hey, man, Lenny, thank you for holding on for us, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Educate yourself, family, what's going on, and be careful. Do not take these drugs just because they're prescribing them to you does not mean you have to take them. A lot of people are becoming addicted to this stuff, and it's killing a lot of our adults and our kids. Thanks for listening to the Michael Baisden Channel, streaming live on the web and all Echo Amazon devices. Sponsored by VideoPitch.com. Tell all your friends who are filmmakers, entrepreneurs, comedians, or artists to log on to VideoPitch.com today and start getting paid for uploading their best videos. Go to VideoPitch.com now and share your story, show off your talent, and promote your business, and get paid doing it. And also, family, don't forget to join me on Facebook at Michael Baisden Live and Michael Baisden Show, and hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at Baisden Live. That's BAISDEN Live. And yes, that's actually me posted on a page, family, not my representative. See you next time on the Michael Baisden Show for more hot topics and great music.